Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Oh, your yellow and gold flies through the breeze. Far and wide you spread your seed.
From the mundane to the magic, and the humble to the harmonious, I'm now ready to share with the world the medicine that has inspired me to release old fears and patterns and realise my full potential, finding the full spectrum of peace and excitement and everything in between, and that it's available to me right now and in each and every moment as I walk my own unique path of wonderment in the world. This podcast will inspire, hopefully, not only my journey and my story, but also yours. Welcome to Dandelion Stories. I'm Emily Doe, sharing stories through this podcast and learning and growing as I go. I love metaphors and I love symbolism. I love wildlife and wildflowers, butterflies and bees, astrology, human design, tarot, crystals and elemental energetics, earth, air, fire and water. They all play their roles in my devotion to myself. I am Emily Doe, mother, daughter, granddaughter, sister, lover, loyal friend, divorcee, author, poet, singer, songwriter, leader, wannabe drummer, artist, dancer, reveller, tree hugger, intimate confidant, coach, somatic therapist, movement educator, space holder, facilitator, and so much more. Some gone by and some yet to pass. All these labels that we give ourselves and that we feel we have to live up to. I think that some parts of ourselves we own and cherish, and other parts of ourselves we give away in service to others. Some parts of ourselves we bury deep out of fear of rejection or simply because we don't feel society accepts us. It is especially true, I think, of women, and for women in generations gone by. In fact, my own 90-year-old grandmother told me in a recent conversation I had with her, when I bravely told her I was launching this podcast and writing my first book. My intention with this podcast is that it gives you the inspiration and also the permission you may be seeking to be all the parts of who you are, and with love, kindness, and acceptance of yourself. After a challenging 4-year divorce process and a good 6 months or so now of hermiting away and weeding out, I've been able to make the much needed space for my creativity. From this grounded place with my 2 bare feet on the earth, I've been blowing seeds of love, hope and new beginnings into the wind. And I'm so happy that I'm now ready to share my story. I'm launching this podcast today on the 3rd of June, as it would have been my dad's 70th birthday if he was still alive. He died when I was 27, 17 years ago. So happy birthday, Dad. I'm celebrating this day for you and for me. I am now able to seek support from many women in my life. And Nicola Humber from the Unbound Press, who is one of those women who is in support of my journey, says that writing a book is like casting a spell. And although I have no real idea about what to expect from this journey I am embarking on, I know I want to do it in community with other amazing women who I've met along the way and who have inspired me with their own stories. This podcast is to showcase real and remarkable women, role models in our society who have been on their own journeys to heal, hope, discover their resilience and step into leadership of their own lives in order to help change the world for the better. I truly believe that empowered women, the seers and the seekers, will bring a wave of change into our world and make this world a better place for absolutely everybody and every living creature. The first friends I want to introduce you to on this first episode is one who showed up in my world about 5 years ago, the humble dandelion. I wasn't going through a great time in my life 5 years ago. It was the beginning of the end of my relationship with my husband, who I had been married to since 2009. We have 2 girls together who are now 8 and very almost 11 years old. And I knew that things were not good and that things were coming to an end between us. I still live in the rented accommodation in Bristol that we moved to from London back in 2018. Around that time, around 5 years ago, dandelions started to appear on the lawn in the garden. And in fact, they started to pretty much take over the lawn in the garden. I was just kind of getting into much more awareness about our natural world and the environment and how important it was for bees and other pollinators to have these wildflowers to maintain the ecosystem for those wonderful creatures that sustain us. And so I stopped mowing my lawn. And the dandelions are still here today. And I realise now more than ever the medicine that those dandelions brought into my life. I started to become more intrigued about the humble dandelion, and I started to do a little bit of research around the benefits of things like dandelion tea, and also started to cook with them and things like that, eat the leaves in salads, and there's even a really lovely cookie recipe for the flowers of the dandelion. And other than that, I started to play around with the idea around the playfulness of dandelions, the fact that children love to pick them at the beginning of spring, especially once they've gone to seed, and blow those seeds into the wind. It's something that is really innate in all of us to want to do that, especially when we're young. And even now, I cherish it when one of my children brings me a wildflower, makes me a daisy chain, and I pop them into my hat or into my hair for the rest of that day. Yeah, I was starting to really become much more in tune with the wildlife, the little conservation area that was sprouting in my garden, my suburban garden in Bristol. Then I started to play around with this idea of breathing out and letting go, the intentions that you can set with those seeds, and also this real exhalation, this chance to let go and soften. And going through the divorce shortly afterwards, that really became a theme in my life. And I started to bring dandelions into my work, into my business, just in some of the artwork that I was using, some of the social media posts that I was posting, and also some of the programs that I was creating for children through the Movement Foundation school program. And then back in December 2020, I decided I wanted a new tattoo. And I was reading a book by Thich Nhat Hanh called Peace in Every Step. And it's about mindfulness. I opened the first page of this book and there was a dandelion, and it was talking about that exhalation, that breathing out and letting go, and that mindful moment that you have when you interact in nature, with nature in that way. And so I immediately knew that I wanted a dandelion for my next tattoo. And I'm a very impulsive person, and so I managed to just find a tattoo artist, message them, and I was in the chair the next day having this gorgeous tattoo. on my tummy. So I suppose that really was sealing the deal for me in terms of my everlasting entanglement, beautiful relationship that I now have with my friends, the dandelions. I have some other wonderful facts, symbolism you may call it, to share with you around the dandelion. Now I'm actually looking back through my recent journal entries and the notes that I made one morning about 4 a.m. as I woke like a bolt out of the blue. That was the moment when I conceived Dandelion Stories. And astrologically, I realised afterwards it was a really significant day. It was the day after the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction. So I think it was the morning of the 22nd of April, 2024. I woke 4 a.m. in the morning and just immediately started to think about dandelions. And I thought there's got to be more to dandelions. There's got to be more that I need to know. So I started Googling dandelions. What do I need to know about dandelions? And I realised in that moment that it was all about sowing seeds of positive change through stories of feminine empowerment and love. And that's what I'm doing here with this podcast and with my upcoming book. The dandelion is the only flower that represents the three celestial bodies of the sun, the moon, and the stars. How cool is that? The yellow flower resembles the sun, the puffball resembles the moon, and the dispersing seeds resemble the stars. Every part of the dandelion is useful. The root, the leaves, the flower. It can be used for food, for medicine, and for dye for clothing. It is documented that up until the 1800s, people would actually pull the grass out of their lawns to make room for dandelions and other useful flowers like chickweed and malva and chamomile. Dandelions have one of the longest flowering seasons of any plant. They're often transported away by gusts of winds, and they travel like tiny parachutes. Their seeds are often carried as far and wide as 5 miles from their origin, and they're also thought at times even to make it up to 100 miles across the sea. Birds, insects, and butterflies consume the nectar or the seed of the dandelion. Dandelions can be used in the production of wine, root beer, and medicinal tinctures. I must try that one out this year. And its roots can be used as a substitute for coffee. Dandelion is used in herbal medicine to treat infections and liver disorders, and 1 cup of dandelion greens contains more than the recommended daily intake of vitamins A and K. Dandelions are quite possibly the most successful plants to exist. They are the masters of survival worldwide. A not so fun fact for you. Every year, countries spend millions on lawn pesticides to have uniform lawns of non-native grasses. Long live the dandelion, I say, and let's have bee happy gardens. So that whole idea of making a wish and blowing it away, the dandelion's work is really undervalued. It's humble, I suppose. Most people think of them as weeds, but actually they are amazing. They are here doing so much good for our soil. Their long roots go down, deep down into the earth, and they bring nitrogen up to the surface and help to deposit it in the topsoil for the access of other plants and flowers. Dandelions have both male and female organs on the same flower, meaning that they are self-pollinating, they're self-seeding. It's a symbol of hope, healing, and resilience. There's actually 30 different species of dandelion. When you think about dandelions, they are not really that sensitive, actually. They're strong-willed. They can grow anywhere and in the harshest of environments, in the harshest of conditions. They can easily bounce back. Dandelions can get stomped all over and they just sprout right back up. They are a symbol of love's authoritative and wise utterance, a symbol of resilience and adaptability. The dandelions are my friends and they've come to help me. They've come as a medicine for me. to show me the way. And they really are such a great example of this unity between masculine and feminine energy. They are here because my soil needs help. And that could actually be the real soil in my garden, but also a metaphor for the undergrowth, the bedrock of my being. They're here to help me grow and for me to help me to discover my own resilience, my strength, my power, my ability to heal, my ability to self-seed, my ability to create and grow and shine bright with abundance, and to also bring what's needed up to the surface for other people, and to share these stories, to create more role models in our society for women so that we can together make connections and create all the ripples of positive change in our world. So I'm super, super excited to continue on this journey and continue this story and share with you conversations with incredibly inspiring women who all have their own dandelion stories to tell. I look forward to the next time I'm with you, and please do share this with anybody in your networks, in your communities that you feel would love to hear these inspiring conversations. And please do also reach out to me and connect if you feel that you have a story that you would like to share. When we work together in collaboration with each other, it's helping other women to find their voices and share their stories. It gives permission for everybody else to rise up and do the same. So until next time, sending so much love.
Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Dandelion, you're a joy to my eyes. Oh, your yellow and gold flies through the breeze. Far and wide you spread your seed.
I want to give a big, heartfelt thank you to Laura Julius Cohen for donating so kindly her beautiful Dandelion song to this podcast. Laura is the lead singer-songwriter of Soulbound. Go check them out. I've put links to their socials in the show notes. Laura also loves dandelions, and she loves how far their seeds can travel, just like songs and stories. Again, I'd just like to mention that I really love it when you share, rate and review on whichever podcast station you prefer to listen to. Thank you.